this time we are very honored to invite the worldwide known facelift expert, Professor Richard Warren, to our society to give us a fantastic lecture. I think this lecture is very comprehensive and do a lot of including the facelift and the neck lift that is more comprehensive than I heard before in Korean society and in Singapore. Professor Richard Warren, can you talk how you are feeling to be invited this time to, and your feeling about our Taiwan Society of Plastic Surgeons?
It's a real honor to be invited to this society, and I had no reason to have any expectations. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but this is one of the great aesthetic societies of the world, actually. I'm impressed with so much. I'm impressed with the training that your people have. To become an aesthetic plastic surgery in this country is much more than a normal country. You have to become a plastic surgeon, then you have to do fellowship time in aesthetic surgery for another 3 years. So every single surgeon I see here knows a lot. I think the papers are very high quality. It's nice to hear people talk about things at a high esoteric level. Simply the organization. I flew in here from Vancouver yesterday, and ever since I've been here, everybody associated with this society has made things work seamlessly. The audio-visual worked well, and that was a wonderful place as a visitor to be able to give a speech like this. So it was an honor to be here. I think for young surgeons, they have to think in terms of a diagnosis, just like anything in medicine. They have to figure out what the problem is and then move on to treatment, rather than the other way around. Sometimes it's easy to memorize an operation and then apply it to everybody. That's the wrong way. They have to really have a diagnosis and then decide what type of operation they're going to do. Of course, to do that, they have to know a lot, and I think the key is anatomy. A thoughtful surgeon who knows anatomy can almost figure out his own operation, or at least he'll be able to look at operations that he's read about and make a judgment for himself if they make sense or not, and then in their own hands to give it a shot. They have to, at some point, try one of these operations that makes sense and see what the results are. And then in the long run, they'll know what to do based on experience. But I'd like to add one point. And that one point is there seems to be two ways young surgeons get up to speed. And one is to have a mentor. They'll have somebody that they spend time with, they learn from, they do it his or her way, and maybe they vary as they get older, but they start out having somebody they can almost copy. And that person's an experienced person, and so the chances of them having a problem are low. You and I have done the same thing. We went through reconstructive surgery first. I did a lot of trauma. I did a lot of facial trauma, burns and hands and that type of thing. And I honestly think that background makes us better aesthetic surgeons, because the reconstruction, some of the principles we apply to aesthetic surgery, and also I think if we bring our aesthetic abilities back to the operating room during reconstruction, it makes us better reconstructive surgeons. So there's no question those things are fertile grounds together. But when I look at people who have done well in aesthetic surgery who didn't do that, they finished a residency and then they went right into aesthetic surgery. I have seen success stories, and I think the success stories were because those were intelligent people who had a mentorship. They had a good fellowship in a certain field. Maybe they wanted to become breast surgeons, and they spent a year or 2 years doing just breast surgery with a good surgeon. They never did reconstructive surgery, but arguably they were very good aesthetic breast surgeons. So I think there is a way to do it. The way we did it is one way to go. It might not be the only way. I think it stands to reason, it's common sense that somebody who's done a residency in anything, dermatology, plastic surgery, will have much more scientific knowledge about what they're doing than a family doctor who's just read things or been to a meeting. So I think they're taking a chance to do this work without proper training. They have to be self-taught. They can't really hit all the high spots. They'll have points of their knowledge that will be missing. And so they have to be cautious about what they do. And I suppose the ones who are the most successful are the ones who simply don't do everything. They only do the safest, simple things. And for the patient, that might not be appropriate, because the patient needs somebody with a broader skill set than that.
It's a great time to with you that give us a very fantastic lecture.
Well, it was a privilege to be here, and I enjoyed the group I was speaking to. And you know, I enjoyed the questions. I had wonderful questions here in Taiwan, which made me think that A, the surgeons were listening, and they knew a lot. So those are nice things to experience.
Yeah, thank you again.
Okay.